Hello, my name is Germana Ravanelli and I live in Nanaimo, BC, and my phone number is 250-591-5327 and my website is heartconsulting.ca. I'm going to talk today about mind-body health, and this YouTube clip is going to be about the mind and the body and how when you can connect with the deeper aspects of the mind using altered state work, also known as hypnosis or hypnotherapy, how you can remove obstacles to health, to quality of living, to pain, suffering, how you can use the subconscious to create change. I was introduced to hypnotherapy 23 years ago. I knew about it previously because I had read some books from Louise Hay, who was a metaphysical healer, and she had a book that I was really attracted to and had these beautiful hearts on it called You Can Heal Your Life. And I picked up that book and I looked at it and had no idea how I would ever understand how to access the subconscious, but I recognize that when there's a problem, that there's a solution by accessing the subconscious, and that was implanted for me when I was 16. And I kind of went on my way and thought, okay, that's nice. And years later, I was also introduced to it through a stage show by Ravine. I was going to watch the show with my Thai and kickboxing school through Hanley in Richmond. And he paid for us all to go, and two of his senior students became part of the show. And he asked them what they were doing, and he took them, I think, to the year 1990 or something, and they were all teaching for their teacher. I knew they weren't cheating. I knew that they weren't making it up, and so I knew that there was something very real going on here with this stage hypnotic show. And at the time, while I was in the audience, I couldn't help but notice off to my right side of my mind, it flipped a picture up of me teaching a warm-up routine for dance, and I knew that I wasn't supposed to stay with the school. Intuitively, I knew my subconscious was telling me, you're not supposed to stay in this kickboxing, Thai boxing school thing. You're supposed to go off and have some fun over here, which I did, and I've done for 30 years. So what is hypnosis, and can people be hypnotized, and can they control your mind, and is it dangerous? And these are really, really key questions. A lot of people have some really, really strong opinions about something they know nothing about. I was really curious. I wanted to understand how to heal things for me that were very, very confusing. I'd unfortunately had a fair amount of trauma as a child. My parents did the very best that they could with the tools that they had, and I was still healing from some of the messages that I was given. So people, as a rule, are always in an altered state, whether it's in a state of confusion, a state of anger, a state of depression, a state of ambition, a state of accomplishment. Every single thing that fuels our behavior comes from our subconscious, and it comes from a driver or a motivator. And so what people often fail to understand is our very, very first hypnotists who are there to program our very precious subconscious mind, which is like the hard drive of your computer, are our parents. Believe it or not, those are the very first people that we look up to say, am I okay? Do you love me? Am I safe? Do I have value? And if all of those markers are given yes, 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 you typically grow up to be a pretty high-functioning human being that leads a pretty comfortable life, that picks a good partner and is a competent parent, and for the most part it's pretty smooth. With the odd hiccup, life runs up. It's challenging for all of us. And then if on the other hand you were given messages that you were not wanted, the wrong sex, not smart enough, not good enough, not pretty enough, not enough, or you were physically or psychologically or spiritually or emotionally abused, then your subconscious ends up with these messages that get installed like a virus almost in the computer system that then just creates this pattern in a person's life that they go, why? How come I hurt? How come I'm angry? Or let's say they don't even feel their feelings because they've had to shut down. They may just go into numb, hard, mean, or addictive behavior, or they may completely resign and become suicidal, or end up with an eating disorder. Some sort of an escape mechanism comes into play to avoid this pain that's on the inside. So when people, look at me and they say, I don't think I can be hypnotized, and I just chuckle, because if you can read a book, you can be hypnotized. If you can watch a YouTube clip, you can be hypnotized. If you get all attached to your cell phone and your texting and your Facebooking and your all these things, you're being programmed by that little item. Anything that keeps your attention long enough where you have emotion connected to it is hypnotic in nature, because it hooks the subconscious through the emotion. So everybody has been programmed. Most of what a qualified, competent hypnotherapist does is finds out how you've been programmed to create success and where the layers are that tell you that things aren't okay with you, and then gently, through support, through permission, through compassion, helps to deprogram those messages that many people are traumatized with. As an example, when I was introduced to hypnotherapy, I was so anxious. I had so much anxiety about speaking up for myself, and I learned through one of my favorite teachers who has since died. Last year she died. Her name was Di Cherry. I learned how to go inside to the body and find out where that emotion lives and use that as a somatic bridge to go, where did this belief come from, and then deprogram it. And from there on, it was like collapsing a complete anchor, and there was no more emotional hook. There was no more low self-esteem. There was no more anger. There was no more sabotaging out of fear. And she was, as far as I could tell you, one of the most powerful teachers I've ever met. And she taught me how to love myself. She taught me how to help other people deprogram themselves. So as a rule, hypnotherapy is used to bypass the conscious mind. And the conscious mind is the part of us that decides whether they'll pay attention to this or this or this or this. The subconscious mind is the part that actually tells the body what to do. So if somebody has this message in their head, today something wonderful is going to happen, today something wonderful is going to happen, they are actually programming their subconscious to scan for something wonderful, and they'll actually attract it, because energetically they're sending out a signal to the universe and to other people to attract something wonderful, and they'll actually create it because they believe it. If, on the other hand, they get up and they go, this is a terrible world, and there's all this poverty, and there's all of these horrible things, they're actually programming, they're self-programming. They are their own hypnotist to have a really horrible, crappy day. And that's exactly what they'll create. And so people don't realize how much power they actually have. And my job is to give you tools, give you support, give you structure to become the author of your own life. And how do you do that? One of the things to do is to, every day, if you can, create a ritual of sacred time where you light a candle to acknowledge to your subconscious that you're precious, that you matter, that it's a sacred moment. And then through doing some kind of an altered state work, whether it's some prayer, some self-hypnosis, very, very powerful, or some guided imagery, which is the same as hypnosis, because you're using the subconscious to create these images to start to deprogram the damage and to plant seeds for a better you, for a better day. One of my mentors, who is still alive, his name is Fatah Taylor. He lives in Nanaimo, BC as well. And he would ask, to ask the person, once they've slowed their mind down, which is how you can get at the subconscious, is slowing that busy mind down, to ask for a symbol of the problem. So For an example, today, as I asked for a symbol of the problem, I got this big brick wall, and it was a symbol that represented me being afraid to let things into my life. And then I asked my higher self, which is also connected to my subconscious and the universe, for a healing symbol of love to clear the problem, and it started to disintegrate into sand. The whole thing just fell apart. And that's a symbolic way of my subconscious saying, okay, we can let this go. And so that in itself puts an impression upon my subconscious to give me permission to move forward in an area that I was previously not doing so well, and I was aware of it. That's an example of using self-hypnosis in the morning. And also how we talk to ourselves, how we speak to ourselves. If you give yourself positive feedback, good job, you're doing great, I really care about you, you're going to have a better relationship with yourself. If on the other hand, you're always looking to other people to make you whole and complete, I got news for you, it's going to hurt. People are not responsible for our happiness, we are. But if you've come from trauma, you'll look at other people to fill that hole. And it doesn't work. I mean, you can do it for a while and eventually they will let you down because that's what people do. The best thing you can do is learn how to have a healthy relationship with yourself by accessing your subconscious mind, by using it like the giant within. Tony Robbins calls it the giant within. Deepak Chopra talks lots about mass hypnosis, and now you see so many people that are so addicted to electronics and computers, and they're just looking down and they're having this intimate relationship with electronic digital media. It's never going to fill the hole. Those people, their quality of life is disintegrating, and they are, mark my word and have no doubt, hypnotized and programmed by these digital media items. So can everyone be hypnotized? Oh yeah. We've all been hypnotized. Some of us need to be woken up out of the trance that we're in. And if life isn't working, you've got to ask yourself, what do I believe? What have I accepted that's allowed me to sell out on the quality of my life? In some other religious education systems, Middle Eastern, they'll call it, what snake have you swallowed? What lie have you been fed? What have you accepted as true that is not? And when we're children, we don't have a defense against it. In fact, for boys from conception, believe it or not, until 6 years old is when the major programming goes in for the subconscious mind. That's when they decide that they're lovable, good enough, smart enough, whether they're succeeding, whether they're good, they're bad, whether they're smart, whether they're stupid, all those things. That's when all of those seeds get planted into the hard drive of their computer. Women, it's conception till 11 years old that the major programming gets laid down. So the question becomes, how do you deprogram once you realize I've been programmed? The quickest, most effective way, sometimes traditional counseling is very effective, but it often just talks about the problem. We talk about the tree, we manage the tree, we trim the tree, we make the tree pretty, but it doesn't get rid of the core issue, the core belief. With a skilled hypnotherapist, you can actually go in and look at who planted this seed. How did this tree get planted in your heart or in your psyche? And with compassion and time, pull it right out. Understand it and let it go. And then ask yourself, what do you want planted in that hole that restores your dignity, your self-worth, your quality of life? And plant that back in that part of the subconscious so you can actually be who you want to be, not who other people define you as. So the question is, can you be hypnotized? Absolutely. We've all been hypnotized. Can you reprogram your subconscious? Absolutely. Sometimes you just need someone to hold your hand, to show you some basic tools, and then you learn to do those on a regular basis with yourself. Every day I do some form of connection with my subconscious, and I do that so that I can have better day than I would otherwise. So I would love to hear from you if you have questions, if there's anything that you have via question, or you would like to even have a Skype session with me. I have had many clients that I've done hypnosis via Skype, some of them on the telephone, but I prefer to see your face because I need to see how your body is responding to the words. Your body doesn't lie. Your body's programmed from your subconscious. And most of what we've been sitting with is trauma or low self-esteem or abuse that we've personalized, and then we think that's who we are. And I've got news for you. If I can heal, so can you. So I encourage you, if you're curious, find a registered clinical hypnotherapist who is well trained, who also does regression therapy, if that's an option, or who does timeline therapy, if that's an option, or does shamanism. Those are all wonderful tools to access the subconscious. And you can contact me if you like. It's www.heartconsulting.ca or Germana, GERMANA.ca, and you'll find my website. And my phone number is 250-591-5327. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful, heart-happy day. Bye-bye.